Yo, yo. I'm the music. Happened to my music. What's the title mean? The fortune cookie I got today. What do you think it means? DJX. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. A fortune cookie had no fortune? Oh, no. That's fine. Nah, I had, went to the SSNA. And I had him there. I think it's Chinese year or whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called. Yeah. Nah, lost. Lost like usual. Never winning. I'm close though. I'm gonna hit a major jackpot one of these days. One of these days. It is my go. My brother's hit the jackpot, and same as my mom. So now it's my turn. I can't get this camera perfect. Oh my god, this has pissed me off. God damn it! Okay, stay. Yeah, they're so lucky. Travis has won it about 3 times or 2 times. So lucky. Mum's won jackpots like a couple of times as well. You're so bruised, yeah, from your massage. What is that, by the way? Is that the suction cup thing? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, he's just lucky. He's so lucky. It's on the same machine too. The machine just loves him for some reason. Insane. Yeah, is it my turn? Please? I've been so close as well. So close. But yeah, so far. Oh my god. Alright, what do we got on for tonight, chat? Oh yeah, I have a new video out to do. A new reaction video. Let me pin this real quick. Why didn't that work? There we go. Why didn't it work the first time? I don't know. Alright. There's a W. W's in a shot. The Chiefs won the Super Bowl? Damn. Some say that would be rigged. Good. They went into OT. I didn't watch it. I'll have to watch it. Why is my sound going through my monitor? Yeah, that's what people be saying because it's because of Taylor. But people will make up excuses. Scripted. Or people be like acting like anyway. All right, we got a video that we can react to. We are reacting to Joel Hansen. Him is just shit, yeah. We're gonna react to Joel Hansen. No winners in 3 years attempting Wyoming's. Attempting Wyoming's. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Biggest burger challenge. Wait, this is not his main channel, but anyway. Joel Hansen Raw. Wait, does he have 2 channels? Oh, he does have 2 channels. Good. Oh, he did this 7 months ago. What? I'm so confused. Is that the play? Wyoming. This is one thing I need to work on is my YouTube intros. I just fucking hate them and I can't do them. I need to. That's the one thing I need to work on. Yeah, this is the video we're gonna pretend you're talking to a friend. It does not work. I've tried. Picture everyone naked? What the fuck? Might work. No. Anyway. Yeah, I don't... Wait, do people do that for public speaking? Ain't no way. What? And it works? That's crazy. I think I just need to get better at it and not overthink it. Anyway, we're gonna give it a go, so. Let's go, we're gonna give it a go. Alright. Hello, YouTube, and we're gonna... Hello and welcome. We are gonna react to no winners in 3 years. And let the... Oh my god. We're gonna react to no winners in 3 years attempting Wyoming's... I hope I'm pronouncing that. Biggest Burger Challenge. Johansson Rule.
Good morning.
So loud.
Some good morning hair going on, everybody. My little dinosaur band-aid has had better days, and it is a absolutely stunning, beautiful summer morning here in Wyoming.
Oh, it is Wyoming.
There's only about
it's snow.
I don't know, 7 or 8 feet of snow. Like, you know, you can clearly see outside of it. Look at this lamppost. Yeah, good stuff, lamppost. Yeah,
it's buried.
Up here. Look at this. Look how high this freaking snow is. Look at these icicles. This is nuts.
That's crazy.
Wyoming, what the heck is going on? But on the side note, look at these mountains. We are surrounded. Just everywhere, you know, you look, these crazy, amazing mountain ranges. It's because we're at like super high elevation is why. But look at this. Look at the freaking snow and ice. It's supposed to be like warm spring, summer, whatever. But what's actually hilarious is we're here at our Airbnb, which is a super cool, awesome, amazing place. We love it. It looks like a little like cabin kind of thing on the inside. But we're going to a
sounds different.
Called Jack's. Later on, we're going to a place called Jack's to do some food challenges. Let's check this out. So
I think this video was 7 months ago.
This little coffee station thing, and I opened this up, and I found a Jack's pamphlet. So I don't know if this is just the best, most amazing restaurant in the area, or if this is the only restaurant in the area. Yesterday we were in Montana in a town which had 2 restaurants. And guess what? We had an amazing experience. So, anyway, guys, let's get on going to some food challenges here. And
I doubt that.
Yeah, look, it's literally right
might be a better mic.
Like, it's the Jack's Food Challenge. Can you beat the meat?
He's a grown-ass man, I'm pretty sure. He looks like a grown-ass man. Oh, that looks so good. Look at that stacker. Alright, chat, we're gonna play a guessing game. What's the time? But don't guess yet. Do not attempt or recreate. Do not attempt to recreate or reenact any of the following materials. These behaviors are not encouraged or endorsed by the creators.
Everybody, we have made it. We're here in Wyoming. Wyoming, the crazy state of, well, look at this. Mountains, 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 and snow. Everywhere you look, just mountains and snow and piles of it. We are outside Jack's Drive-In, which if this is a drive-in, I gotta, like, the rest of the world gotta catch up to the standards of Wyoming drive-ins. We're here to do their Beat the Meat challenge.
Pause.
So this is a giant burger challenge. It has been defeated very few times and attempted many, many times. So lots and lots of failures. It is a giant burger, basically, with 3 crazy big patties, with 3 times the pulled pork, 3 eggs. Just
that is a stacker if I've ever seen one.
Pile of French fries. You also have a giant, yes, a giant root beer float, which is about a liter, over a liter. Pretty interesting. I've never had a root beer float in a challenge. If you're not familiar, is ice cream and soda pop. You do have 35 minutes to complete the challenge, or to get a $50 meal for free. And I believe that's the majority of the information. So with that, let's head in, have some fun, get some more info, and yeah, hopefully you can beat the meat. Here with my good friend, Mr. Scott. And, you hungry?
I could eat.
Let's go eat. Everybody, so here are what the challenge is. Definitely big. I was actually which is super cool. They have a local yak, and they use yak burger, which
they're
is
both
very
doing it.
Conventional. I've never had yak before, so they actually were able to put one of these patties as yak. Scott got the same thing. So we're gonna get to try yak today. Getting the floats, burgers, eggs, all this above, fries. Which
What's the
have a
time
seasoning
limit?
on them. I also have a variety of their different, like, house-made barbecue sauces.
He's gonna
Smoked
smash this
pulled
down,
pork,
I
which is
think.
Super cool. That's pretty much it, I think. Oh, and I have, like, their jalapeno cilantro sauce. I'm pumped. Not many winners, lots of failures. Scott, ready to rock and roll?
Absolutely.
So with that, let's get started here just momentarily. I am ready. Scott is ready.
Absolutely.
The restaurant is ready.
Yeah.
I probably should have ditched the sleeves because it's just gonna make a mess, but whatever, guys. We're in it to win it. So let's have some fun. I guess the record is about 17 minutes, roughly.
Also, the record is 17 minutes.
First food challenge.
I think he's got this in 12.
Maybe say the count of 5.
12 minutes, I'm guessing.
3, 2, 1. Let us eat. Got some veggies and all that good stuff.
All right.
Maybe some meats, eggs, barbecue sauce, pulled pork, onion rings.
Holy shit, he's chowing that down.
Delicious bacon and delicious sauce.
Jesus. You hungry? Howdy.
Do you know which one's the yak patty?
I don't know which one. Apparently, it's a little bit gamier, so.
Delicious bacon and pork belly.
We're watching these guys do an eating challenge. The record is 17 minutes. They have to complete the meal in.
I think it was the top one.
That might be it.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's just comparable to beef. Really nice beef note, a little gamier.
That looks so good. I'd have that in a normal meal. Thanks. And I'd eat it properly. I'd want to enjoy the meal. Of course.
No, maybe it's the second one.
give it a try anyways.
Yeah, they probably could, but they want to beat the record. The record is 17 minutes. So these guys are eating. Whoa. What would you call them? I don't know what you call these guys.
First one.
They like to eat, and they like to do eating challenges. So what an eating challenge is you have to eat the meal in a certain amount of time, and usually the meal is like huge. The meal is like feeds a family, and they eat it all. It's insane. Hey, what's up, Jamie? How's it going, man? Yeah, we can watch that trailer after this.
Very delicious though. Definitely enjoying the burger.
Yeah, I would not recommend to eat like these guys because it is not good for you. But this is what these guys do.
It's a nice bacon though.
A sweet kind of bacon.
Yeah, there is 2 of them this time. Yeah, I'm going good, man.
Very thick cut.
He's just drinking the sauce. You're guessing 8 minutes? I guess 12. They're smashing this down though.
We want some fries. We are about 4.5 minutes in. It's very tasty. Scott's doing well. How you enjoyed it, man?
Yeah, very good. Seasoned nicely. No complaints.
Great French fry too. Oh my gosh.
Stole your phone.
Very flavorful.
Whew, those are some good buns. Huh? Nice and soft. Moist and sweet. Almost like a brioche.
Is it brioche? Yeah.
All good, we can react to both of them.
It looks like a good bun.
Yeah, it is. Got to get into this some of this fry sauce.
It does, eh?
Scott loves his fry sauce.
I just recently discovered it, and yeah, I love it.
Really?
Uh-huh. It is addicting.
I like ketchup. Let me know if you like fry sauce or ketchup down below.
They're chowing the food down. Coming up to 7 minutes.
I love the way they season these fries, actually. Very delicious. About 7 minutes in. Very much enjoying it.
That's knocked him on the outside.
Fries are nicely, lightly seasoned. Ooh, yeah, goes well with the fry sauce.
8 minutes in.
Everybody, we are just over 8 minutes in. Both crushing it. Scott only has a good handful of fries left. I have the buns, and we both have our floats. So with that, we keep on trucking. Very tasty challenger, no complaints.
He's got the bun left.
Into this bun.
You might be right.
Pickles.
Okay.
I agree. Probably is it brioche bun? Potato bun.
Oh, wow.
Excuse me. Comments to the chef. Nice and flavorful. It's different, right?
Yeah, they said that. Do they have to knock down the shake as well? I think they got to knock down the shake.
Alrighty. Come on, 10 minutes in. Scott's doing real well. And I got a big old float.
Yeah, they have to get knocked down the shake as well. What did I guess again? I think I guessed 12. Did I guess 12?
There are lots of different options.
I can't remember. I'm pretty sure I guessed
Didn't
12.
end up actually using them all. Because everything went down just so easily. It was cooked perfectly. It's very delicious. I do agree with that top yak patty. Which I really like. Just had this really nice punch of flavor. Lean, but really cool. Now I can say eat a yak. Let me know if you ever had a bison or a yak burger down below. Comments to the chef.
Excuse us.
So now a float. How are you supposed to eat a float? With a spoon, a straw? I haven't had a float since I was a kid.
1 minute left. Stop talking, Joel!
Wow. That is not what I remember
Stop talking and just finish it!
a float tasting like. It tastes like root beer and ice cream. Not bad. And then somehow the spoon, oh, the spoon is failing me. Nonetheless, give it a whatever. Do you have chunks in yours?
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit of ice cream chunks.
It is good though.
12 minutes. Come on, finish it.
Last one.
Cheers.
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 I think we're done.
All right.
12 minutes.
Everybody's just finished up. Final time of what, 8 or 12, 18 or so.
W.
Very delicious. I honestly.
W's in the shot.
So that float, I've never, like I said, it's been a long since I had a float. It's not bad. It's pretty good. I wasn't sure what to expect. It's like ice cream and soda. This burger was delicious. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Love the different flavors on it. Excuse me. Compliments to the chef with the fries being seasoned, the burgers the way they were seasoned. I got no complaints. Love the pork. Love the bacon. The bacon was very robust.
It was.
I did really enjoyed it. And I got no complaints. So that we do get meal free. It's pretty cool. We, I guess, did get a new record.
Yep.
And Scott, any words?
No, it was good. I want to thank the staff here and
Wyoming has been fantastic.
That's right.
So thank you all. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you so
out.
much.
We had people coming like from 3-4 hours away, so we definitely appreciate that. We did get our first food challenge win in
Yeah, good, Jamie.
Wyoming.
That's right.
And guys, it's another state, so I got no complaints. Really delicious. And that, of course, next time, like I said, definitely check out Jack's Drive. This place is awesome. Super cool looks, super cool items, delicious. And I'm staring at a mountain right now, so that's pretty damn cool. So, of course, next time, say happy health and hunger, happy eating. And that, till next time, have a lovely day.
Oh.
And here in Alpine, Wyoming, man, just the mountain.
Cool. Aussie man got. I'll react to that tomorrow. Should we watch this?
You have 4 children, right? And you get pregnant and you have the 5th one, but that's the straw that broke the camel's back, and now your entire family's homeless.
But it doesn't mean that their life is worth any
Educational vid.
less.
And
though.
also-
Let him talk, let him talk, let him talk. My name is Gen and I explore social and controversial issues through both sides. And I'll be moderating this middle ground episode of pro-life women versus pro-choice men. And the first prompt is, abortion allows men to avoid responsibility. Agreeers, please step forward.
I think it absolutely does because, for example, the cost of a first trimester abortion, which is majority of abortions, they cost between $500 to $800.
Did you get the
Plus, if you're
debate?
paying child support
Battle?
and you actually pay it, it's going to be about $5,000 each year. So like 18 years of someone's life is over $90,000. So I think that is
Got
a
it.
significant like financial responsibility, and it's way easier to just pay for a one-time abortion than to support the child their whole
I think
entire
so
life.
many men too will just send a girl money and like go get it done, like
Yeah.
so they don't have to worry about it.
I don't like to think that all men are like pigs like that, but there's definitely men that brag about that all the time. you know.
And also just men taking responsibility for birth control. Like, where is that male birth control pill? Men don't want to be parents. Let's have a vasectomy. Right now, I think it's 500,000 vasectomies a year. but then there's 930,000 abortions. So like we don't want abortion to be birth control. And again, laying that on the woman, like, oh well, you know, you go ahead and you have an abortion because I wasn't responsible.
I'm Christian, and it's like no sex before marriage, and like for me, everyone knew, no, I'm not married and I have a kid, but I'm not going to cover that mistake I made that I should have already made for myself not to do that act. Just take responsibility for my actions, and now I live it, and I can use my story to encourage people instead of let's hide it away and cover things and like just put it away so no one knows.
I think some men, obviously some men avoid responsibility.
Like when men are affected by issues, like that's when things change. I'm always of like this mind of like if men could actually get pregnant, like things would, just this whole conversation would actually be very different.
I'm aware the majority of men suck. I'm aware of that. We're not great as a species. At least from my small little sample size of the 4 of us here, I know for a fact that if we were in that situation, it's not about the lack of, oh, okay, I'm getting rid of my financial responsibility to this child. I think it's both sides. I don't think that it's one specific gender that would feel the responsibility of having the child, caring for it. You know, we live in a day and age where stay-at-home dads get paternity leave too. So it's not this type of thing where we are forced to make women into mothers and keep them at home. And I think it's kind of demonizing to see it more as a man-woman thing, and only the men are getting the flack for that.
At the end of the day, like we're talking about the responsibilities placed on obviously both parents, right? What we just need to remember is that there's so many responsibilities. I would argue more responsibilities that fall onto the woman. We're seeing a lot of single mothers more so than fathers. If men could get pregnant, you could walk to like a pharmacy and get an abortion with like a flu shot, like at the same time, same day, get like a little sticker too. Like that's the reality, I think. It's just for so long of—
Why are they laughing?
These legislative decisions have been made exclusively by men. I think it's really important to now value and put a lot of emphasis on the perspectives of women who feel like this responsibility just isn't really being understood.
I do think it's interesting though about what you said about legislators being men, because Roe v. Wade was decided by a majority male SCOTUS.
Sticker comment.
But then Roe v. Wade actually had like, you know, not that many women, but
On June 24th, 2022, Dobbs Section Women's Health Organization decision, the Supreme Court of the United States overturned Roe v. Wade, the landmark 1973 Supreme Court decision that affirmed the federally protected constitutional right to abortion.
more women than Roe v. Wade, so.
Yeah, sure.
You know,
like men can be
You mean Dobbs?
Yeah, Dobbs, yes, I'm sorry, yeah.
There's always this kind of notion that like women make this decision kind of lightly. So like saying like, oh yeah, men are gonna use this to kind of just, you know, skirt around their responsibilities. It's like, you know, it still is, or supposed to be, the choice of the woman. It's not some decision that's just like, oh, okay, I got pregnant, oh shoot, let me just get an abortion. It's like this weighs on women so heavily, whether you are coming from the pro-choice or the pro-life side of things. Like this isn't something that, you know, a decision that anyone's making very lightly.
I think we agree.
Yeah.
This is a very weighty decision, 100%.
And women are impacted after too. My friend had an abortion when she was 19, still thinks about the baby to this day. So it's a very hard decision, I agree with you.
How can two groups of people, both with good intentions, be this far apart on this issue? Chances are half of this group is reading news stories like this, while the other half are reading news stories like this. Both are based on real studies conducted by experts, but you can tell that there's some bias baked into them. I've personally lost a few relationships because of news bias, which is why I am so excited to tell you about Ground News, the sponsor of this video. Ground News shows you the bias behind every news story, so you can see the bigger picture. On Ground News, you can see how sources are covering a story, which way they lean politically, and how reliable they are, all backed by ratings from independent news monitoring organizations. They
say goodbye to your news. Just fucking download this app.
You compare headlines so you can see how their wording can change our takeaways.
Have you seen the statistics of all the news stations? I seen it the other night. They're all dropping because of social media and all the news outlets that you can get along the internet. It's crazy.
Overturning Roe versus Wade to save babies sounds a lot different than abortion bans raising annual birth rates. But the facts of the study are the same. Both of these stories appear in the Ground News
Oh, that's
blog
right.
feed, which highlights stories that are disproportionately covered by one side of the political spectrum, so you can step into someone else's media reality to understand where they're coming from. Click the link in the description and check out ground.news/Jubilee for less than $1 a month, or you can get 40% off the Vantage plan for unlimited
It costs
access to the
$1 a
Blinds
month.
feed. Ground News is supported by subscribers, so signing up helps create a more transparent media environment for everyone. Thanks again to Ground News for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back into the conversation.
Men can't tell women what to do with their bodies.
No, men can't tell women what to do with their bodies, but when we're talking about abortion, there is a separate body. It's not my liver, it's not my kidney, it's a separate body.
I would agree with that too. It's like a father should still have a say in like what the life of their child, if they want to keep it or not, because it's 50% their DNA as well.
I was apprehensive to come forward because that's kind of used as men not to be able to say something about their child. And like you said, it's not the woman's body that's being hurt in the situation. So they don't have a right to tell women what to do with their bodies, but it's not their body that's being hurt.
I think this is generally used in the context of like legislation, and it's used to reflect on how there are a lot of male legislators who may not particularly know like what it's like to go through pregnancy.
Well, let's get more women as legislators. Let's, you know, and the other thing is, if men can choose sex, I would hope they would be able to choose fatherhood too.
I'll be honest, I have a 4-year-old daughter, and when me and my wife found out she was pregnant, we did, consider an abortion. We were very young. We were just going out to college. We had our whole lives ahead of us. If I'm going to become a father, I want to be able to be the best father. And luckily in our situation, we have some familial support. We have housing if need be. We're very driven. We're going to college. We have jobs. But I left it to her because she is assuming all the risk. I think the male should be, at least in my personal opinion, informed, but I don't think there should be a statute that says, men have to be informed, because obviously there are circumstances where rape, incest, or just weird circumstances where probably they don't think they need to be informed.
I think that's interesting because I also have a 4-year-old son, and I got pregnant when I was 18, so it was like the same kind of situation. I was a senior in high school. I had offers to go run track Division I, and I always would choose life, and everyone said, you're ruining your life, why would you do that, But for me, like I always knew, this is a life. That risk happened to me, and like I knew the consequences of it. So when I decided I'm keeping it, and I even ran track for 3 months while I was pregnant and just didn't tell my school, and broke 2 school records while I was pregnant, and even don't let other people tell me what I can accomplish because I had a baby young.
Your story can exist still within the confines of pro-choice, because it's not
Damn.
preventing you from making that choice yourself. We're still just advocating for women that aren't necessarily able to have the same powerful story that you do, like because they aren't of the same means to make a different decision.
What is your connection to abortion, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, I mean, my personal story, I was adopted. It's funny, like when this comes up, people always question, like, you were adopted, like why are you pro-choice? Like, if your mother had made a different decision, you wouldn't be here. I was adopted by an upper middle class black family, which, like, especially when I was born, was not very common, still isn't very common. You're adopting children that look like you most commonly. Normally people that can kind of afford that range are probably white, so the children of color are left behind. Fortunately, I was able to avoid that, but I am very cognizant that that's not the case for everyone else.
My friend Brandon, he was also adopted. I'm so thankful that your mother chose life and that you had a great family. He unfortunately didn't. He works in the pro-life space and he shares a story all the time, but he suffered a lot of abuse and now he's a pro-life advocate. But he always says, like, isn't that baby's life worth living still? Isn't it worth protecting still, even if it doesn't have the best circumstances? Because if we kind of take that route, then the kids who are less fortunate in terms of finances and babies of color, they're going to suffer the most from allowing abortion.
I love that perspective too. I think that hang on.
I can say something.
Yes, you go first, sorry.
How amazing is your birth mom? I mean, that she would do that and give you life. I think when people are against abortion, we want to encourage people and support that and fix all the institutional problems that you guys have brought up that are real. We don't want women to have to feel that that's their only choice.
I don't think
what we say about people's bodies is gender specific. I think men and women can both say things about each other. You mentioned a good point about legislators, right? I used to work in politics. It's interesting to see the people that make decisions, not just about women's bodies, right? They make decisions about the roads that we drive on, the food that we eat, or the quality of the air that we breathe, and they don't know what they're talking about, both men and women. So I don't really think that gender has anything to do with who can make decisions. I think education, compassion, empathy, those are really good tools to have. My mother, for example, she's a pro-abortion advocate, an activist. She is a woman who loves me. She's had multiple abortions in her life. I was supposed to be aborted. That was the plan until she was, I guess today you would say, like, coerced. Family and friends brought her to church and they're like, think about this, And she decided to keep me, right?
And if I'm correct, you're also a Democrat. Is that correct?
I am, yeah.
So you're a pro-life Democrat
Yeah.
who is also a woman.
And we're out there. Being a Democrat in that perspective, I believe in social programs.
I don't understand all that, but
Government assistance, maybe a lot of people disagree with me, but there's a lot of good social programs out there, right? Some of them need more work, but we have WIC, right? We have just these programs that could use more funneling. Adoption is messy.
I think it's just really interesting, right? Because a lot of pro-lifers tend to be a little conservative, but part of empathy is being able to understand other people and their situations, or at least acknowledging when you may not understand what it means to be a woman, what it means to go through pregnancy. Like this whole prompt, right, is about whether or not men really, I think, understand that, and whether or not their opinion has this value or a heightened value when they don't understand.
I wanted to go back on what you said about not being for social programs. I'm definitely for social programs.
Nice.
One thing is if you are against abortion, you need to be concerned about the baby after it's born, and that's one thing that's always said to people who are against abortion. And I volunteer at a shelter for pregnant women who are fleeing domestic violence. I know so many people who have fostered and adopted, and I do agree that we need to donate our time and our resources to that cause if we are going to be against abortion. I totally agree with you.
You can be a feminist and pro-life. Agreeers?
I love this one because the definition of feminism is one who espouses equal social, political, and economic opportunity for women. And there is no litmus test for that. And I am totally for seeing more women CEOs, seeing a female president. And if you study history, the founders of feminism, Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony, were pro-life. And even the first female doctor, Elizabeth Blackwell, said that if you terminate an embryo, you're lacking strength and dignity. And so 100% you can be a feminist and be pro-life.
I think something so amazing about women is that we can reproduce and our bodies do all of these things. Like me going through the pregnancy process and just seeing how my body just prepared to give life. Even though I was young, I had no idea what I was doing. My son was the first diaper I changed, first baby I held. I didn't know what I was doing, but the motherly instincts just come, and I think that's something so important about being a woman, and even after recovering and now competing again in sports and stuff. It's just like our bodies were made for that, and I think it's just more empowering to know as women that that's what our bodies were created to do, and we can use that, and it's just such a powerful thing for us.
I think a lot of people, they'll say that, this is something that people say, that we need abortion because it levels the playing field, because children are actually what's setting women back, the fact that we have to be home and be mothers, and I think, this is 2023, that's not the case anymore. Women can be athletes and be mothers, and they can look at Serena Williams, right? I could say a bunch of examples, but I think it's pretty anti-feminist to think that you can't value life and also want to be, a successful woman, whatever that looks like for you.
I saw a video of Adele getting an award, and she was like, so many people told me I wouldn't be able to do it, I wouldn't be able to win awards after having my child, and now she's absolutely crushing it. So I think there's so many women who are successful, and they didn't need abortion, they didn't need to murder their child to be successful.
I feel like one issue doesn't make you not a feminist, right? I feel like you're a great example of this. You can fight for women's rights, women equity, more inclusion for women, and I feel like you're the quintessential example. You can fight for it. No, really, you're what I think of when I think of you can be feminist and be pro-life.
That's almost saying that, if you're pro-choice, you're not valuing life in a way. The conversation is never about the mother's needs, what's going to happen to her. It's just hard for me to reconcile someone being feminist while saying, I don't want you to have bodily autonomy in that way.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you came up for the prompt where it was men can't tell women what to do with their bodies. But then I find it kind of ironic that like there's men who tell women you can't be a feminist and be pro-life.
But with that previous prompt, I'm so sorry to cut you off. With that previous prompt, telling them that like you can do whatever you want, like giving them the authority to do what they want with their bodies.
But
Isn't part of those options the ability to, you know, have that decision to be pro-choice or pro-life? Isn't that part of giving women the option, though, is empowering them to make their own decisions?
Right, exactly. I think there's like a big misrepresentation of the pro-choice side. The idea that pro-choice people don't support mothers, I think that's just inaccurate. If women find power in being mothers, that's awesome. That's great.
Well, let's talk about the women's movement, because I think what I'm concerned about with the women's movement is this trend toward celebrating abortion. It used to be safe, legal, and rare, and we all could agree on rare. Let's do all we can to make this rare. I want to see the focus on the women's movement be toward women succeeding professionally, and this is becoming, you know, let's celebrate
What's that
abortion
mean?
as the feminist movement, and that's just the wrong direction.
I agree with you. I was at the Supreme Court when
Yeah, that's messed up.
overturned, and I saw women standing on like these like elevated spaces taking abortion pills and like people clapping for them, and that was just, it was really heartbreaking to see.
This prompt was a little more difficult for me just because I don't know if I agree with either side here. Feminism is an incredible movement, and I love that the fight is to give women agency and to really make them courageous on any choice that they do, whether that be pro-life or pro-choice. They get that agency to do it. It is strong and courageous to have the baby to full term, but it's also strong and courageous to make the choice on your own of, you know what, I'm not gonna bring another life into this world if I can't care for it correctly, if it's gonna struggle, if it's gonna have all this stuff. What you had said about, you know, the women at the Supreme Court taking the abortion pills on the steps, I don't see that as negative. I think those are just powerful moments that are people standing up to what they deem authority
But
figures.
it's not powerful to murder your child. Like, I think it's powerful that women are empowered to keep their child. Like, we've progressed so much as a society. I think it's crazy to tell women that, like, we can't support the baby and the mother. Like, we can do both, and we should put all of our.
But under the current system, we can't.
But we should. Like, don't you think that saying, oh, well, let's just allow abortion, like, I feel like that's a cop-out. Like, we should push to do both.
But the legislatures you support aren't doing that. That's the problem.
We can
you can say one thing, you could say this all day,
anything.
but the problem is that's not happening.
The fact that abortions happen as much as they do speaks a lot about what resources we have as a country for people who are pregnant and for people who are expecting. I think when they
I think we are agreeing on that, though.
Yeah,
We're
sure.
agreeing on that.
When people are celebrating stuff like abortion access, what they're celebrating is not the fact that abortions happen. They're celebrating the fact that they now have the agency to make that choice.
That's not necessarily true, though, because, like, there's so many TikToks, and I'm sure we've all seen them, of, like, women making abortion cakes and, like, literally throwing parties. Like, that's not majority of Americans. I fully acknowledge that. But to say that people don't do that is not fully true.
But they're extremists on both sides.
I
So it's like,
agree,
you know,
I
it's
agree,
never,
I agree.
it's never
Yeah.
good to like give the examples
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
extreme.
Abortion rights are basic human rights. Agreeers?
I mean, that is the foundation of this ideal, right? Like, being pro-choice means that you should have the legal right to go and to be able to get the basic human right, as if you are in a domestic abusive relationship, if you know that the baby is going to be born with health defects, things of that nature, it should be a basic human right to have the opportunity to, I guess, allow that child to not be born into less than optimal circumstances.
It comes from our Constitution. I think abortion was rightfully inferred from that liberty interest for women. When it was overturned, I think that puts a lot of other rights that come from that interpretation of liberty at issue. I mean, obviously, there was a dissent where they said that, but again, I think since it comes from the Constitution, is interpreted from liberty, it's a fundamental aspect of, you know, the United States. It's freedom.
I think a lot of people, when they come to the pro-life issue, they ground themselves in like their own personal moral views on what a life is and what counts as a life worth protecting. And a lot of that comes from religion, right? We see a lot of Christians in the United States, other religious groups as well. They see, I guess, nothing wrong with the government coming in and mandating what your moral sets of values are.
I want to talk about what Nick said, how, you know, not allow a child to enter into a not optimal situation. And I don't understand our society's obsession with perfection. My story is that when I was 18 weeks pregnant with identical twins, they were diagnosed with something called twin-to-twin transfer syndrome. Baby B had limited amnio. She was shrink wrapped. She had no visible bladder. And my OB said, you need to terminate. I was strong enough to try to find a different path and a different course of treatment. And my daughters are now juniors at UCSB. They got an econ major and a bio major, and they're going to be strong women and trailblaze. And so we also need to just be super careful
amazing.
of becoming a society that says who is allowed to live and who is allowed to die. I also want to talk about when you brought up faith. There are a lot of atheists who are against abortion. One of the most famous atheists is Christopher Hitchens, and he wrote an article, a left-wing atheist's case against abortion. We are 152 million in America who think that abortion is wrong.
Along
We're
with, like,
diverse.
religion, I'm Christian and I live my whole life to honor God. As soon as an egg is fertilized by sperm, it creates its own cells, its own DNA, so it's its own individual thing. So it's not just religion for me, it's also the scientific behind it. And even if it might have a health issue or something, if a 2-year-old has Down syndrome, no one would say kill that child now, because so there's a separation from in the womb, out of the womb, because it's with time it's going to become
I think there is an important difference though between a fetus and, a fully developed baby. We have laws against infanticide for a reason. I get you guys believe that it starts at conception, but I don't think that belief should be put onto everyone else who may not subscribe to that belief as well. Obviously it's human. I'm not going to be disrespectful to that. I think there's a difference, a fundamental difference.
When is someone allowed rights then? Like, in your perspective, when is someone granted the right to life?
I think Casey had it correct, the viability issue, that kind of clarified what Roe didn't, regarding the issue of, well, when could we regulate? I think that's why I like Roe. The voters can decide where to draw the line of viability.
Okay, but what do we do about New York, where there's unrestricted abortion up to 24 weeks, and Curtis Means was a baby who was born at 21 weeks, 1 day. He's in the Guinness Book of World Records, and there's unrestricted abortion in New York. And in fact, New York celebrated by taking the Freedom Tower and making it pink. So then what do you do with that?
It's up to the voters. That is their state.
But don't you think that that's kind of problematic to say, oh, well, that's murder in this state, but that's not murder in another state? If that's the case, then we're killing thousands, millions of babies in one state and allowing another set to live solely because of their geography. Like, that just seems like a form of discrimination.
But that is a result of the Dobbs decision, which struck down Roe v. Wade, which had a federal legislation that the majority of the country agreed that should have been the standard for when an abortion
well, just because the majority of people believe something doesn't mean that it's good, though. A lot of times in history, we've seen the majority of people believe in something that was really bad, but that doesn't mean that it's okay.
Obviously, when we look at slavery, we know that that was terrible. We wouldn't want majoritarian rule. We honor people's ability to sort of make these decisions for themselves.
You mentioned slavery. We know this is wrong now, but back then people also knew that it was wrong. There were people back in the times of slavery that fought against it. So slaves weren't seen as people, therefore slavery is okay. You could be a good Christian, plantation owner with slaves because we weren't people. No matter the situation of what's happening in current society, in abortion, and people use all these flowery terms for it, but it's ending a life. That's what it is.
Abortion, termination of a pregnancy is medical care in a lot of situations. These states now can actually force them to bring a child to term that could potentially kill them or put them in a terrible emotional and financial deficit that they otherwise would have had the choice to get out of. There is a woman that she gave the recommendation that she did need to terminate the pregnancy because I can't remember how many weeks, somewhere around 20 weeks. If she were to bring this child to term, it would likely kill her. She would have to leave and go to
her life
Chicago.
is at, I'm sorry, but her life is at jeopardy, correct?
Her life is probably at jeopardy.
So there's no law in any state that prohibits saving the mother's life. The mother's life is always prioritized under the law.
Actually, I would like to say something about that because I do think those situations matter, but those are the vast minority of abortions that are happening. So that's my issue with it.
Abortion is murder.
I think the debate here kind of starts with when people decide that it's a life, and as soon as, when a baby's conceived, that's when life starts because of its own DNA. It will become a human, it will become just like us, and all it takes is the time and nurture.
They stop the heart of the fetus. They have to dismember the fetus. They stop, the pills stop giving nutrients to the fetus. So obviously you're killing something. Maybe there's a debate because murder implies like, malicious intent, but regardless, it was a life and the abortion is what stopped that life.
There's justice for the 5. There was a few babies, 5 babies that were found that were 3rd trimester aborted. Not to be graphic, but pieces of their heads were missing, their limbs. These are human beings, and if we want to say logically consistent, then if a life starts at conception, then it is murder to kill it.
Yeah, I have no take on
Conception's
these
really
conversations.
place
I'm just
to put
learning.
the life beginning. I think it has the potential to be a human being. Obviously it's living, but it's alive when it's inside of me. Before I
Kind of a sticky
a
situation.
baby is made, it is alive inside of me. So, and it has its own. It's half the DNA.
So are you saying the same thing as, like an egg is the
Yeah.
same thing as a fetus?
No. I'm not saying. Obviously, when it fertilizes, it's different.
Yeah.
But where does the DNA come from? It comes from both individuals when they meet, right?
But on its own, it will never develop into
It's an
a human
alive
being.
cell. It's a cell. It's alive.
But it will never develop, like on its own, like an egg cannot just, without it being fertilized, it cannot just develop into a human.
Yes.
Well,
like,
didn't we
at
just
conception.
establish that embryos don't develop on their own? Like they need the nutrients of the mother. These are environmental
Yes,
conditions
exactly.
that they need to develop, right?
But I think you're.
The scientific consensus is that at fertilization, the DNA will never be reproduced. So like it'll still be its own distinct DNA versus like a sperm, like it can die off. It needs the egg.
Then what about like identical twins?
I have identical twins. So they are genetically totally similar, but because environmentally they're different, that in the environment is that they grow up in, and that's when they start to change and become different.
I guess the point I'm just trying to make is I think the uniqueness of your DNA is a weird, it feels arbitrary to me to draw the line there. Like that's the only qualifier.
So where would you like to draw the line?
Point of viability.
Point of viability?
Viability
so then are
is
you against the
so-
New York bill that's
In
up
my
to 24
opinion,
weeks?
I'm not a voter.
I want your opinion.
Okay, I would say somewhere in, I'd say early second trimester
what
is I
week?
think
Give
it's
me a week.
acceptable. 4, 8, 12, 16 to 20, I think personally is
So
all
then
right.
you're okay, you want to say no abortions after 20 weeks. You're okay with that?
That's, I mean, would if it was on the ballot and would I vote for it?
Yeah.
Yes, because I'd say still it gives the woman ample opportunity to choose before it is fully developed in this like past the 3rd trimester. No, that's infanticide, right? I think that is personally way too
So
early.
do you think someone who has an abortion after 20 weeks, they are doing something that's immoral?
Not immoral. I would say I personally wouldn't do it. Again, I'm not going to impose my morality on anyone else. Everyone has come to their
I got
own
that. I just want
conclusions.
your opinion. I want to know.
personally don't
Because
I'll say that I personally
in a
don't think
sense.
Wait, let's let him answer that.
Again, I wouldn't do it. I think it's
Right.
immoral in
We got
my
that.
opinion. In my opinion.
We got that.
But it's very subjective, this topic, and I think that's why you need to give individuals ample time because you can look at this from like 50
You're not
different
answering the
angles.
question.
What?
Do you think it's immoral?
I told you, yes, it was immoral, in my
Okay,
opinion.
okay, good.
But it's
Yeah.
not based on any religion. It's just based on how, an arbitrary line. Even my opinion is arbitrary. If you show me information otherwise, I maybe would change
Okay,
that.
so if you believe that it is immoral, then do you want a voice to be able to say? I'm not talking about legislation. I'm just talking about a voice. Do you want a voice?
That's fine. You should be able to have your voice. It's
Yeah.
America. You should be able to
So do
argue.
you feel a responsibility to have a voice and say, hey, after 20 weeks, it's immoral?
If you want, yeah, go for
Or
it.
do you
I
personally?
don't. I wouldn't personally go out in the streets and say it just because that's, in California, we already have a law that's like, it is where it is. I'm fine with that. If you want to get it changed, go for it. But I'm fine.
Why
with
don't
it.
you
I
feel
personally don't think that it is
responsibility? Okay.
immoral at 20 weeks. This whole conversation is the kind of thing that villainizes the mother and makes them feel this propaganda of like, oh, I'm now a murderer or whatever, and that makes them not want to have any terminations regardless of what that's going to do for their futures or anything like that, or their own potential health.
But that's also not completely true because doctors, and listen, my family is in the medical field. I have a lot of friends that are doctors in the medical field. I'm not discrediting medicine. So if my doctor's telling me, hey, I think you should do this, I'm going to be intimidated. This person went to medical school, right? These are the things that, so women are also, I don't want to say coerced, but they are not always in control when they decide to get an abortion.
Right, sure. Nobody should
But
be
that's what we're
pressured into
fighting
an
for.
abortion.
We're fighting for the whole idea that even if you are under duress, if you are threatened, if you feel as though you're being coerced into doing something that you don't want to do, you should still have the right to choose, even if you've got 17 outside things telling you, don't get an abortion. Or
But I also
you
don't
still
know
have
how
the choice.
authentic that is because pro-choice advocates and pro-abortion advocates mostly are only for making sure the woman has a choice to terminate the pregnancy. But where are the pro-choice advocates after that?
See, I think that's where you're wrong, actually.
That's totally where you're wrong. Like
Yeah.
the whole point of the choice is like you can go ahead and make that decision to keep your child.
Okay, but after that decision, what's happening? Who's helping me? Where are
That's what we're coming from too, though. You're forcing these children into the world, and we're like, yeah, where's the support after that?
I think the
there
problem
is
right now
support.
is that societally there's so much pressure already for for a lot of women to go through and go through with their pregnancies, and there's a lot of pressure against them for getting abortions. And I know it's like really easy to feel like, oh, people are celebrating abortions now. You can get an abortion and feel like popular for it.
I think we could all agree we would never shame someone who has an abortion.
No,
We
and
all
I
agree
would like
on
to
that.
say that a lot of people say that about pro-life folks, that we are villainizing the mothers. If they're in that situation where they feel like they need to have an abortion, that's a tragic situation for them. I hope we're not coming off as we're saying that mothers are evil.
Well,
for
but even
getting
if you're
abortions.
villainizing, even if you're kind of, that rhetoric in general does just naturally saying
839
that
Aeon.
mother does villainize the mother, but it also villainizes the doctors, because, you know, if these doctors are saying like, this is the recommendation, I'm recommending that you terminate your child, and now you have legislation against that, the legislation doesn't change what is still medically necessary. Now these doctors are afraid to tell their real medical opinion to these women, which puts more women in danger of actually having some sort of terrible health crisis where they could potentially die, or something actually could happen to the child anyway, and the mother is like further jeopardized for no reason.
Well, I think
And the legislation is made vague for that reason,
And I
just so
think
that doctors are a little afraid.
I think there's
so many.
two issues going on. There's equality, illegal, you know, something being illegal or legal, and immorality. The goal is fewer and fewer abortions. Let's work on birth control, you know.
All for you, would you say, I know you're pro-life, but are you pro-life in the sense that you believe, like in your personal
Birth
life,
control is not all that
you know,
good
there's
either,
something,
though.
like wrong, or would you say that there needs to be a statute that says like you can't get an abortion?
Studying for an exam tomorrow.
So would you support a
Yeah,
statute?
the bad man.
Yes, but like that's why, because there's a difference between your personal beliefs.
Sorry, I was saying that in general, abortion is wrong.
Okay, but do you think would you support, you know, a statute that says at this point, like let's say 6 weeks, or no, conception, that there would be a ban? Would you?
I would like a world where there are no abortions, yes.
Okay, so it's not your okay.
In my situation,
Yeah, hard
where
disagree.
I've been like a voice to a lot of young moms. Everyone has been telling them, teen moms, that don't do this, you know, just like have an abortion, then you don't have to worry about any of this. They come and like reach out to me and just like, I need someone to talk to about it that knows what I'm going through. I went through a lot going through it, and it's going to be hard, I'll be honest with you, but it's like the life that you'll create is something so unique and so special, no matter how difficult it is going through it, and I'm there to support you. Like when you do it, or if you decide not to keep a child, I'll still be here for you, because that also is something very difficult to go through.
Well, I think what's really fascinating is that people were so worried about Dobbs, but according to New York Times, abortions have actually increased since Dobbs. Actually, when you look at America as a big pie, people who are against abortion is actually probably a lot bigger.
So would you support the ban though at conception? Like a statutory ban, that's what, so you can, for your personal life, you can have those opinions. I'm fully there for it. Go to your communities, advocate for it.
That's never gonna happen in America.
Well, how about 6 weeks? That's a real one. How about 6 weeks?
You know, I'm more about let's try to get society where this isn't, where we are not having later abortions. That's what I'm worried
But
about.
would you support it though?
Would I support? Okay, yeah.
You were
No, yeah. No, go press me. I want to be so compassionate toward women. I get that. So I would more, if I had a friend who had an abortion or who was contemplating it, I would try to convince them not to, but I don't think I would be for a ban. I don't know. How's that? It's really hard.
It's very hard.
It's very hard.
You know, it's a very, okay,
You
let's
just have to remember that you're sharing a space with a lot of people who
Right.
think that these personal feelings should be applied to society as a broad.
I mean, you were good. You said nothing after 20, right? So I would say like, nothing after 10. No, yeah.
Well, here's the
So
thing.
up to 10 is okay.
I don't know. It's never okay. He's talking legality.
you
He's
just
talking
said-
legality. No, he's talking legality.
so
It's always immoral.
Wait. Hold on.
He's talking legality.
Let's go.
Okay, so I just really quick, so you said that the number of abortions has increased, but I think it's important to look at each state because each state is so different.
Yeah.
So the number
Don't you find out you're pregnant after 12
It really
weeks?
depends on the states because the states' laws are so different. But to answer your question, to stay logically consistent, I would have to support a ban if I believe that it is killing another human being.
Around?
I have to support a ban at conception. So to stay logically consistent, yes.
And also, like, speaking of states, like, I'll just use my home state of Florida, where they publish why people get abortions as part of the questionnaire. If, like, last year, there were like 78,000 abortions. Less than like 5,000 of those abortions were for health of the mother, rape, incest, all the things that we're talking about. Most of the abortions were because of elective reasons. Abortion doesn't get someone out of domestic violence. It doesn't get them out of depression, it doesn't get them out of their situation. So let's help them in their situation so that they could feel, okay, I am able to have this child because I have a support system.
But it gives them a lifeline. It gives them a lifeline.
Are not invalid. Like, you know, we're
No, they're
acting
not
like these-
invalid. No, they matter. They do.
really matter. Like, these are things that like can completely destroy your life. You say you're coming from a family and you have 4 children, right? And you get pregnant and you have the 5th one, but that's the straw that broke the camel's back, and now your entire family's homeless because you can't afford to support them.
But it doesn't mean that their life is worth
These people
any less.
kind of suck at arguing.
I'm not saying
Are you a good debater,
I'm
39?
not saying that. I'm saying that like you're still ruining the lives of the entire family, and you're saying that like, oh, it's just because it's an elective, instead of like.
Then they're
it's
one
life
sickness
threatening.
away. Oh, sorry. You're
Nah.
Sorry.
So please keep your opinions about like
Morality's
what life
not.
is.
How is morality
Morality's so tricky.
How is morality?
Let him talk.
There is like everyone has a different moral compass. That's crazy not to say. There are some things that like.
You
Sure,
know.
the majority of people are gonna say like that's
They're arguing now.
reasonable, but
I don't think they're allowed to argue. They're only allowed to debate.
It just is. Like it varies from person to person. You're gonna bring this child to term no matter what. Do you? But don't force that on other
Can you
women
say that about
don't
murder?
have
Can you
that
say that about
same.
murdering a
I mean,
grown
what's the
adult? Like,
point
oh,
of
my
laws,
morality is
then?
different, so
It's a
I gotta
completely
live
different
my
argument.
life.
It's a completely different argument.
Can I just clarify one thing? I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I just wanted to say that even though I'm saying after 10 weeks, I still think it's wrong, but I'm living in a civil society where we're trying to come together and find some middle ground. And that's why I'm saying that. I still think it's always wrong and not the ideal, but I'm trying to say, let's find some middle ground. That's
And I don't think
my-
you can find a middle ground on like, one of the hardest philosophical questions in all human history.
Oh, that was a good little catchphrase.
Okay.
Women should never be shamed for having an abortion.
Hell no.
God, I'm so proud of us. We all agree on one thing.
Yeah.
I'm so
We agree
proud.
on a bunch of things.
That's not right.
This is what happens when we
You
agree.
agree.
The dark times. They agree.
I think it's pretty simple. Like no one should be shamed for it because it's already something difficult to go through. No matter like what you decide, it's a difficult situation. So putting shame on someone just doesn't help at all.
Yeah. I think also it's a personal journey that someone goes through. So if I'm saying life always matters, I don't believe in abortion, then somebody could take that as being like, I'm bad because I had an abortion, right? So I can totally understand why people could think that, but I think that having an abortion was just a choice that was made that I wish didn't happen, but it's okay.
I feel for the women that get shamed for doing what they have to do, right? Whether it's a medical reason, whether it's an elective reason, doesn't matter what reason it is. I feel for them because if they're getting multiple pieces of their life, whether it be family, whether it be friends, whether it be outside sources that are shaming them for what they have to do in their mind or what they want to do, that's not a world that I would want to live in realistically.
It's rough, dude, and we live in California. If we were in Arkansas or Mississippi, like all of us would be standing over there. Like none of us would be
I lived
here.
in Texas for a year, and I was actually shocked at how civil people were. So, because I also thought that, because I'm from LA.
Okay,
So
sure, my bad.
Well, and I will give a perspective of, because my in-laws are in Indiana, right? So I'll just speak from the Christian perspective. Like Christians are supposed to be compassionate, right? We're supposed to be Christ-like. So if you have had an abortion, or if you are thinking about abortion and you were to walk into, I'll say that most Christian spaces, I'm not going to speak for all of them, there's some bad ones out there.
Good luck. Thank you for the luck, 39.
And we're going to offer to pray for you and give you whatever you need, but we don't want a person to feel rejected.
Sad study time.
There's redemption too. Like that's the whole point of like the Christian faith, the gospel is like redemption. Like I have friends who did have an abortion, they were pressured into it, and now they have 3 kids, or now they're married, you know, and they mourn their loss, but they're so joyful that they have children. You know,
hold that against them.
I'm just really thankful that all of us did agree on this because I have a friend and she told me that it was okay for me to share this story. I mean, she was in grad school, married, had a child, and she was sexually assaulted. She ended up getting pregnant. She didn't even admit to her husband that she had been assaulted because she felt this shame. And then once she found out she was pregnant, you know, she had to make this very difficult decision to have an abortion. She lives in a red state, so if this were, you know, now, she could have been in a situation where she wouldn't have been able to make that choice. She told me at least that she doesn't know that she would still be here. She feels like she probably would have taken her own life. There is so much pressure and shame put on in society sometimes for this is just not fair. And so it's just really nice to, you know, see people on the other side of the aisle that still understand that like you shouldn't be shamed even if you do disagree
Is there nuance when it comes to those sorts of instances?
I always just think that the child is not responsible for the bad actions of their parents. Like if someone is sexually assaulted, the child isn't responsible for those horrible things, and I think it still has value. Its life still has value and can become good, or they go through a hard life. I think their life is still valuable no matter the situation of when they were conceived.
And one act of violence doesn't fix the other act of violence. You know, like that woman needs healing, needs therapy, needs support, and I think that needs to be presented.
But what if the abortion is the way that she finds that healing? Because personally, if it was in my position and I got sexually assaulted and I got pregnant from that, there's no physical way that me as a person will be able to bring that baby to full term and deliver it, knowing that that is always going to be a reminder of one of the most traumatic experiences in my life.
Well, especially just, yeah, considering my friend, she legitimately contemplated suicide. Like, seriously, she at the time still had a husband and a child. The psychological trauma that puts on someone, it's already so difficult. I can't even imagine, because I haven't been sexually assaulted. And so many women go through it, which is insane in of itself.
Can we talk about tougher penalties for rapists? Like, what about chemical
Oh,
castration?
we will
or
always
something?
agree on that.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. And then we don't have to worry about them.
That's a no-brainer.
Absolutely disgusting.
Any other thoughts?
Well, I just want to say that abortion is the end of a lot of other problems. There's a lot of things before then. So I would love if, for us as a society, focus on providing a better life for everyone.
I would want to say, if anyone's watching this and needs resources, let them live. We'll pay your rent, we'll pay your medical bills. Please just shoot one of us a message and we'll connect you with the financial resources to help you.
Inform people. These type of conversations are hard.
And then just
Obviously, we
right
know that.
people.
They're
Yeah.
important. It's not the kind of thing where you can just sit around and not talk about the hard topics, because at the end of the day, the hard topics are the things that are going to continue us as a human species and make us better and help each other kind of understand people more.
That concludes our episode of Pro-Life Women versus Pro-Choice Men. If you guys want to hug it out, shake it out.
Oh, you're so nice to meet you. You're like my favorite.
You're great. Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah. Self-control.
So many good words.
It's nice to meet you.
Tougher penalties don't worry some people. That's true. Very true. No self-control. That was interesting. Learning a lot. I learned a lot. Tricky convo to have, though. But that guy's right at the end. If we don't have these tough conversations, then we're not going to grow as people. Very, very true. Well, I think that's all for React. I think we're ready for some games. Is it gaming time? I think it is. I think it is. I've been enjoying Rocket League even though it's been tilting me. I think we're gonna play some Rocket League for a bit. Some Rage League. Oh, we didn't react to Dreamy's videos. I think he got distracted and he didn't come back. A little bit of training. I want Multiverse to hurry up and come back out. Nah, no word. There's been leaks. I'm gonna do so many videos on Multiverse. I'm gonna do clip videos, clip react videos, toxic 1v1s. I've got so many ideas. Lots of content, yeah. Some tutorials. Unlucky. There'll be a React segment tomorrow, Dreamy. What games have you been playing, Dreamy? You mean playing many games? Oh, I didn't... Fuck. I didn't download the mods for Incredibox. Should probably convert over to kick as well. Apex. Interesting. Oh, 2 days after the battle pass. Managed to get 60 so far. I hate doing that shit, man. That's what got me burnt out from DVD. Trying to catch up on the pass. And Overwatch as well. Yeah, exactly. You want your money's worth. Well, leagues of challenges to catch up on. Jeez. Are you in? To refresh yourself, yeah. Rocket League can be actually fun sometimes. Can't believe I'm saying that, but it can be. I think it's a mindset as well. You gotta have a good mindset to play Rocket League. If you have a shit mindset, it's just not gonna go good. You'll get frustrated easy like I do. Sometimes. Dude, if you can master your mindset in Rocket League, you'll master your mindset in any game. I can tell you that much. I enjoy randoms, to be honest. That's what I'm saying, dude. Solo queue is just... it's fucked. Actually. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. I'm C2 and 2s. It's been difficult though. I've been going up and down.
Nice.
I missed. There's been a lot of smurfs as well, and alt account people on alt accounts. It's crazy, but hey, what can you do? It's out of your control, so there's no use complaining about it. My guy didn't hit the open net. My guy didn't hit the open net. I don't know what that fucking pass was either. I'm already complaining I'm fucking tilting over teammates, dude. I need to stop. But it's just hard not to. Like, look at this freaking kickoff! Like, how hard is it to do that, man? How hard? Nice bump! Another bad gig off, it's fine though. Mate, good control. Good defense. I missed. Hopefully teammates back. What's he's not? Oh! I don't understand, man. He has full boost. Whatever. Doesn't matter. It's my fault. I'm playing bad. Whatever. First game on. I mean, we just have to ball chase at this point. Whatever. GG next. Oh no. Fucked up my kickoff. Why am I playing so bad?
Yo, hello? Yo, you there? I talk in China.
I don't know, man. How am I demoed there, man? Bro, I can't get a goal. I literally can't score a goal. Just go for every ball, bro. I just can't play at the moment. I don't know what's going on. And these kids get so lucky. Fuck, man, I just can't! What is going on? There we go! Finally, man. Oh, am I wrong? No, that was terrible. Nice. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, bro. Am I wrong? Okay. No way, bro. This can't get so lucky. Whatever.
It's possible. It's possible. It's possible.
I know what this guy's saying. I've got music on.
No, I was gonna say. I'm gonna let it just go.
Nice.
Too close. Oh shit. My bad, my bad.
No boost, man. Right. Oh my god.
That was so close. Oh, fuck.
Man, this fucking guy always just rotates into my fucking vision, dude. Whatever. Unlucky. It's my fault. My fault, it's whatever. Yes. I can't deal with these guys, man. He doesn't even know what he's doing. He just hits it. And it just randomly goes in. Bruh. Nice. Bruh. What more can I do here? That's me every time. Going on, Alibi? I did nothing. It's crazy how you can just do nothing in Rocket League and it works out. Like, bro. Fuck! And then when I try to do something, I can't do it. Oh no, that's bad. Why did I just not leave it? Even though that was fucking weird, that interaction there. It works. How does that work? Oh. Might be in. Nice. Damn it! We need to defend here, bro. We don't need to do too much. Nice! Even though we made so many mistakes, his teammate didn't get angry at me, bro. Alright, chat, I think it's time. I think with time we convert over to kick.com/Xpiicy. You know the vibes. Alright, much love, chat. Thank you for hanging out on Twitch. I'll be live on Kick right now.